What's up, guys? Welcome to Knockers on the Bottom. I'm your host, Jay Miller. Jay Miller, if you like. So let's get into it. So before we get into anything today, just want to let you guys know tomorrow's the big day. Tomorrow is the giveaway. I'm giving away a Cowboys gift card to the Cowboys Pro Shop within the first 5 minutes of the episode. I've been promoting it, all week on the episodes. Every time I post one, letting everybody know, hey, I'm giving something away. It's going to be within the first 5 minutes of the episode. So if you got something to do and you have to get back to the episode later, you can. But at least you'll get a fair chance at winning the gift card to the Cowboys Pro Shop. Whoever wins, please comment below so that everybody knows that somebody won and that it's not just a fake giveaway that I just made it up and just giving it to some random person arbitrarily and not for real. I want someone to comment below once you win and you redeem it so that we all know, hey, this is the person who won. And keep hitting the like button, keep hitting the subscribe button, because when we get to 100, I'm going to do this again. And I'll periodically do giveaways throughout the course of my time here with you guys. So with that being said, let's get into it for today. So still no new movement on the Mike McCarthy situation. Seems like the Cowboys are very intent on dragging this whole situation out as long as possible. It's kind of a pain in the butt because, for one, you would want to get, if you're not going to bring Mike McCarthy back, right? You would want to get your start on your next head coach and your start on your coach of the future as quickly as possible, right? Because teams are already out there requesting interviews from different people. You would kind of want to be in that same boat if you're not going to bring back Mike McCarthy. You would, want to be looking at some of these young offensive coordinators or defensive coordinators or, former head coaches, whatever it may have. You want to start bringing these guys in, getting to pick their brains, seeing who their staff would be, what kind of guys would they hire, because the last thing we need to do for the Cowboys is to make a worse decision than Mike McCarthy. So if you're not bringing Mike McCarthy back, I need to talk to people because I need to know, hey, who's going to be your offensive coordinator? Who's going to be your defensive coordinator? Who's going to be your offensive line coach? What kind of system do you run? Are you West Coast? Are you drop back? Are you spread? Are you a combination of all those things? What kind of principles do you have? What are we going to fall back on when things are not working, right? So that's the sort of the issues that present themselves, whether it's offensively or defensively, right? If you have a certain system and you have a core set of plays that you wanted to get to that week and those things aren't working, what kind of things can you fall back on to still be able to move the football? Same thing defensively, right? If we have all these exotic blitzes and these looks and these weird things that we want to run and they're not working, what are our base principles that we can fall back on that we can get a stop when we need a stop? These are problems that have come from the Cowboys in the past, and it's not just a Mike McCarthy thing. It's been whether it's Mike McCarthy, it's been whether it's Kellen Moore calling the plays, it's been whether it's Jason Garrett calling the plays, or Scott Linehan calling the plays, or on the other side, whether it's been Rod Marinelli calling the plays, whether it's been Dan Quinn calling the plays, or whether it's been Mike Zimmer calling the plays. It really doesn't matter. The Cowboys have had very similar issues on both sides of the ball, and I think that comes a lot from not having a consistent philosophy throughout the whole organization as to what we are, what we do, what we're trying to accomplish, and what we want to be. I think Mike McCarthy is the closest we've had to that. So I do understand why the Cowboys are kind of negotiating with him right now. I just don't understand what the holdup is, right? Because head coaching money is kind of similar throughout the whole league, right? You have a few coaches that are making a little more, you have a few coaches that are making a little less, and then you have most of the league that's lumped right into this middle area, which is exactly where Mike McCarthy should be. So it shouldn't be the money situation. Now, is it the play calling situation? Do they want a different play caller? And if they do, who do they want, right? Because I don't know if I necessarily trust the Dallas Cowboys, i.e. Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, to go out and identify the best play caller for the team, right? Because for me personally, when they identify things, we end up with people like Mike Solari, right? Who is our offensive line coach. I'm not saying Mike Solari is the worst offensive line coach in the league, but he was with the Cowboys almost 30 years ago, right? So you're bringing a dinosaur back in to try to get the offensive line where you want it. And now it's been mixed results, right? Some people have worked out and some haven't. But that's the type of thing that I'm worried about. If we leave this up to Jerry Jones, I mean, he might go try to pull North Turner out and bring him back and say, you call plays. And while North Turner was awesome mid-90s to mid-2000s, his style doesn't quite fit with the NFL right now. So I don't know if I trust the Joneses. I don't know if I trust Mike McCarthy either, though. If they left it up to him to go identify a play caller, he's going to be the same way. He's going to go with the people he knows, the people he trusts. So this is something where it would be so nice for the Cowboys to have, like, I don't know, a general manager, a consultant, a team president, or just hand this over to Will McClay. I do trust Will McClay to be able to go out and identify somebody who might be able to help in that area, but I don't know. I don't know if it's tied to Mike Zimmer. Are they waiting to see if Mike Zimmer decides he wants to coach or he doesn't want to coach? And is that tied into Mike McCarthy's fate? But I mean, neither here nor there. It shouldn't be like that. If Mike Zimmer is the person that you want to be here no matter what, that should be separate from Mike McCarthy, in my opinion, right? Because if you're saying Mike McCarthy can only coach well if Mike Zimmer is here, then maybe he's not the coach for you. And vice versa. If Mike Zimmer can only coach well because Mike McCarthy is here, well, then maybe Zimmer's not the coach for you. So the Cowboys are playing these little games here, and it leads me to believe we're going into what is going to be a very entertaining but very messy offseason, right? So I'm looking to see what happens there, because from then, if we clean house, it'll get a little bit more exciting because there's the excitement of the unknown, right? There's a whole list of candidates out there. But again, if we clean house, I think the Cowboys will be interviewing people like Ron Rivera. Mike Vrabel seems to be a hot candidate. I doubt the Cowboys, even if they interview him, will get him because he's such a hot candidate. Bill Belichick is in college now, but that's definitely a guy the Cowboys would have went after. Pete Carroll is probably somebody the Cowboys will interview. So it's not a very exciting list of top of the mind head coaches that the Cowboys would go for. I don't know if they would go for Aaron Glenn. I don't know if they would go for Brian Flores. Actually, I do know they probably would not go for Brian Flores. But I don't know if they would go for Aaron Glenn. I know they wouldn't go for Ben Johnson because of his demands for alignment from front office down to head coaching staff, and he has some GM guys that he would like to bring in. He probably has a whole staff in mind, and the Cowboys just don't like to operate that way. They like to build out their own staff and dictate to the head coach who's going to be coaching with him. And so I'm saying that as a long way to say I still feel about 90% certain that Mike McCarthy is going to be the head coach of the Cowboys, at least for the next 3 years. So I think this is what the holdup is. I think they're trying to figure out length of deal. I think they're trying to figure out how much to pay him. And I think they're trying to figure out how much of his staff that they can wrestle away from him and replace. I don't want to see a person like Al Harris go anywhere. I don't want to see Linda Wells go anywhere. I don't want to see Fossil go anywhere. I like those coaches, and I think they do their jobs pretty well. But I do think we need to take a look at the play caller. We need to take a look at the offensive line coach. I know Zimmer did well towards the end of the season. If he decides to stay, fine. But if not, I wouldn't be, I wouldn't be against taking a look at the defensive coaching as well, the defensive coordinator, and trying to get younger and smarter there as well. So there's a lot to look at for this Cowboys offseason. I just wanted to touch on the coaching situation here because that's where we're at. As we go tomorrow, I think I'm going to talk a little bit more. Hopefully there's some more Cowboys news as far as coaching is concerned, because this is also holding us hostage as far as covering this team and moving it forward, because I don't want to talk about free agents yet until I talk about, until the head coach is figured out, because then we kind of know what direction it wants to go. I don't want to talk about draft prospects just yet, because, until we have a new coaching staff, I don't know which way we're going to go. Now, if we are retaining Mike McCarthy, I know some of the players I would look at in the draft immediately that could help out the Cowboys, just based on, hey, this is the offensive style we like to run, this is the defensive style we like to run, and these are the needs as listed. But you get a new coach in here, you get a new staff in here, it's going to make that whole process a little bit more interesting. So that's why I haven't delved into any of that stuff yet. But trust me, the draft prospects and covering all that stuff and the free agency stuff, that's coming. But we just need to figure out what we're doing with our head coach first. So come tomorrow, again, doing the giveaway. But also, I'm going to break down a little bit of the playoff games. I mean, we're here. We're here at Wild Card Weekend. It's going to be awesome. We'll take a look. We'll do some video breakdowns. Nothing quick. Maybe one or two plays from the games that are coming up on Saturday, and then maybe on Saturday we'll do one or two plays from the games coming up on Sunday and make some picks and stuff like that, and maybe get a look at some of these offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators that are even coaching in the playoffs that might eventually be eventual head coaches or coordinators for the Dallas Cowboys. But that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you so much for tuning in. You can follow me on Twitter at JMillerIYL. That's JMiller if you like. You can also hit me up at knockersonthebottom@outlook.com. Again, knockersonthebottom@outlook.com. You can also hit me up at knockersonthebottom@gmail.com. You can leave comments below. Any questions, anything specific that you want me to cover, I'll take them here. I'll take them via email. I'll take them via Twitter. Put it into a mailbag, make it a formal segment. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Like I said, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We're at 50. We're giving something away tomorrow. When we get to 100, we'll give something else away. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Love you guys. Until next time, I'm your host, J Mill if you like. This has been Knockers on the Bottom. Peace.